Hi everyone, welcome back to the Bootleg. I'm Tom Kreager, high school sports editor of the Tennessean. He's Joe Spears. Missed a week. I'll take the blame for that. I was in isolation. I'm coming out, but another couple of days I'll be totally back to normal, I guess, as far as won't have to wear one of these things again. Joe, we were going to go to Thompson High School last week before I had to go in isolation. We both, I think, watched at least parts of the game. I pretty much watched the whole game once I figured out how to get it on TV. Lipscomb Academy goes down to Thompson, Alabama, the three-time defending 7A state champions. They win 24-14. Big defensive display there in the second half for Lipscomb. What's your takeaways from it?
Defense. That Lipscomb defense, we thought they were going to be great this year. They showed it in that Thompson game. They forced 3 turnovers. 2 of them were for touchdowns. Brian Longwell had a great 66-yard interception return. Caleb Beasley kind of sealed the win there with that 99-yard fumble recovery. I think the fumble was actually forced by Longwell, who just
monstrous game from Brian.
And Edwin Spillman actually had 16 and a half tackles in that game. So the defensive stars for Lipscomb stood out, and they really showed that they're not just a power here in Tennessee. We all knew that they're really good. But nationally, I mean, they're ranked in the top 25 in a lot of polls now for good reason. They're a great team. Trent Dilfer's got something going there at Lipscomb now, and they showed it on national TV. So a great win for them. Neither of us had them winning. I think I had it a little closer, but great win for Lipscomb, and it'll be hard to see if they get tested like that the rest of the year.
You're gonna call me out.
Yeah, I had to.
I had them losing by 21 points. I will be telling you right now, I served as motivation for the Mustangs. Trent will never say that happened, but in my book, that was motivation for the win. So guys, I helped you out. Big win there. Puts them on a national stage, as you said. I think the USA Today poll, they're number 25 in the country. And our Super 25, they're now the unanimous number 1 pick in the Super 25. So it's good for them. They're 2-0. They host Goodpasture this week. But now let's go into our top 10 games. It starts with NBA 2-0 at Macaulay 2-0. These guys know each other well. I mean, they saw each other twice, once in regular season, once in the championship game. Macaulay won both.
Yeah, Macaulay won the regular season game at NBA last year by 3. It was a great game, 34-31. Kind of dominated the state championship game. That was 28-7. Marcel Reed could never get into it in that game. They were really on him. I think this NBA team is better than that NBA team last year. A dominating win last week against Procone. And if a Procone team that's 0-2 right now, I think they're better than the record shows. They played 2 tough games. NBA just really, they're dominating teams right now. Macaulay, they've been okay, but it's Macaulay. They've won a lot of games in a row at this point. It's going to be tough to go down there and beat Macaulay. I think Jonathan Taylor and Marcel Reed have something clicking with the Big Red right now. I got NBA going in there, maybe pulling a minor upset. I think it's not really a big upset. I think they're the 2 top teams in D2 AAA right now. But I got NBA winning this 28-24.
What about the Big Red? I think Macaulay's won 19 in a row, maybe?
19, yep.
19 straight. They're at home. I think that's why Macaulay wins this game 24-21. See, folks, Macaulay 24-21. I think it's going to be a close one. I just think playing them at home, they've got a couple, they're still getting transfers from Canada. Their quarterback's from Canada. He's a pretty high-rated guy, too, I believe. That's probably going to be an issue that's going to be talked by Teal Split at some point, of the boarding schools getting all these transfers from other countries and playing immediately. I think I'm hearing rumblings that could be a topic of discussion at some point. Pope John Paul II, 2-0 at Father Ryan, 1-1. It's the Bishop's Cup game. It's where you will be. Take it away.
I'm really looking forward to this one. I know it's a big rivalry game. These teams don't like each other. At our Dandy Doesn't Shoot, Drake Carlson and Kenny Minchie, they were joking around with each other, and I talked to Drake a little bit. He said he's ready to hit Kenny at some point, so it's gonna be a lot.
Nothing personal,
nothing kidding, but they want this win. It's been a while since Father Ryan's won this. Pope's won 6 straight. So it's been a while.
Is it 6 straight in the regular season?
Yeah, 6 straight in the regular season. It's been a while. So Father Ryan, they've struggled offensively this year, though. I mean, they struggled and lost to East Nashville. They only scored 10 points last week in the win over Brentwood. They're gonna have to score a lot more against Pope, who's really just kind of dominating their first 2 opponents. Kind of similar to last year. This was a really close game, though. Pope won 21-14 this year. I think Kenny Minchie and that offense, they have a lot of weapons, and I think they win another one this year. I got them winning 28-14.
This is their year. I mean, this is the year a lot of their skill guys are seniors. So if they're going to do it, this is going to be the year that for Pope, that this is going to be the year they're going to go deep into the playoffs, maybe get to Chattanooga. I like this game. This is always a very close game. We talked about how Pope John Paul II has won 6 straight regular season games. I think all of them were within probably 1 score or 10 points or less. It's always very, very close games. I think Kenny Minchie is the difference maker. I think they win 27-21 and a 7th straight year of keeping the cup. And Kenny goes all 4 years without losing it. So, good feat for the seniors.
Yeah.
Blackman 1-1 at Riverdale 2-0. They call this in Murfreesboro the Backyard Brawl.
It's a good name.
It's a great name for Rockerty.
And last year Riverdale crushed them in this. I mean, we know Blackman for their high-scoring offense. They limited Blackman to 18 points in this game last year. I think the only other performance where Blackman's really struggled is week 1 against Brentwood. So I think Blackman puts up a little more of a fight this year. The Riverdale offense maybe not as explosive as they were last year. Brandon Graham's really getting his feet set there as their quarterback. I think it's closer, but I think Riverdale's defense comes up with a big play in the end and wins this 24-20.
The part that's not been mentioned is Blackman is down one of their key receivers. Ben Marshall, tight end who's committed to Cal. He is going to be out this game. He had 2 unsportsmanlike penalties. He's out for this week's game. Difference maker. Of course, Justin Brown's going to have a great game. It's time to start seeing Jacob Page. I mean, he's played the last couple weeks. He hasn't really produced much offensively. They haven't needed him to last week. He's, of course, a transfer from Page, a 3-star receiver. I think he could be the difference maker in this game to help offset everyone keying on Justin Brown. I've got that game, Riverdale 35, Blackman 27, but still close even without Marshall. Independence 1-1 at Centennial 2-0. That's where I will be. Tell me why this game's so big.
You get Ty Lockwood back.
You hope.
Hopefully. He's been out the last couple of weeks. He had appendix surgery before their week 1 matchup against CPA. 4-star tight end going to Alabama. He's really hoping to have that breakout season with the Eagles with Cody Pagak as their quarterback, who was out last week as well. I think he had a concussion. So they get both.
Slight concussion, I think.
They get both those guys back, and that's going to be huge because this Centennial team's really played well, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Their first 2 games. Last year, Independence cruised 35-0. I think Centennial's better than that this year. I think you get those 2 guys back and Trey Hartwell, who had his breakout game last week. I got Indy winning this one 35-21.
Okay. Look, first right here, I forgot to write down my rest of my scores, but I'm going to tell you who's going to win this game. Independence 1-0 at Centennial 2-0. I think if this isn't the chance for Ty Lockwood to kind of say, okay, to show everyone why he's so good, this is that opportunity. Right. This is a Centennial team that I keep seeing on social media that they're much improved and everything. I'm ready to see that. I think this is a really good class for Centennial. The quarterbacks had a great start. Matt Kreager has changed the uniforms. Or at least changed the helmets. I think this is a new look. I think it's going to be a great game. I think Independence still wins this game by 2 touchdowns.
There you go.
Briarcrest 2-0 at Brentwood Academy 1-1.
Briarcrest won this game 17-7 last year. Big thing. I don't think Deuce Scott played in this. He was dealing with that high ankle injury. Also, quarterback-wise, they did not have George McIntyre. George McIntyre saw him last week. Didn't have the flashiest game, but he did enough to win that game, especially on his feet. He really showed some elusiveness. Deuce Scott coming off that 230-yard, 4-touchdown performance, 4 touchdowns overall. He had 3 rushing, 1 receiving. I think this Brentwood Academy team is much improved from last year. I was really impressed with how physical they were up front last week against CPA. I think they get some revenge again, back-to-back games where they get revenge for losses last year. I got them beating Briarcrest 24-14.
2 things on this offense. When you have a run game, a guy that can run, pick up yards, not having Deuce Scott most of the season was a big, big hurt for this team. He's he's got deceptive speed. He's had 2 great games so far, and that helps out a brand new quarterback in George McIntyre. The thing with George I like, he's not made mistakes. He's not thrown an interception. He hasn't been sacked. So you put that stuff together. He's off to a great start as a sophomore quarterback who just got offered by Tennessee Saturday, day after the win over CPA. BA wins this game. They win by about 10 points, I think. Briarcrest 2-0, but I think it's a deceptive 2-0. I think this is their biggest test of the year so to date. Whereas Brentwood Academy's had 2 great games already.
Yeah.
White County 2-0 at Station Camp 2-0. This is like the Malachi Dow game. Malachi Dow is probably the most underrated, unknown player in Middle Tennessee, but all he does is score touchdowns and run for lots of yards.
Yeah, he's already run for 7 this year, and he's closing in on 500 yards through 2 games. I mean, that shows you how great he is. He's had a great season. Station Camp's off to another great start. They're 2-0. They picked up a big win over Hillsborough last week. They got Luke Dickens as kind of a quarterback / running back hybrid. He's already got 3 touchdowns, almost 300 yards on the ground. This game last year, Dow ran for almost 150 yards, but Station Camp did not let him score. It was a 14-10 game. I think it's a little more high scoring this year, but I think Station Camp's got a little more balanced overall. I got them winning this one 21-17.
White County by a touchdown. Malachi Dow is going to get in the end zone. This kid, one of these days we got to go see this kid. This kid has been amazing. He was a region MVP last year, and they didn't even make it to the playoffs. Christian Brothers 1-1 at Ensworth 1-1. Tommy comes to Ensworth. Tommy McDaniel, the coach at Christian Brothers. This is not last year's Christian Brothers team where they could just hand the ball off to Down Hayden and just watch him run down the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're both these teams 1-1, like you said. Ensworth, kind of like last year, they're coming into this game off of a blowout loss to Baylor. Baylor kind of handled them week 2 last year. Kind of the same week 2 this year. Shamar Porter kind of got shut down there. He was posting on social media about him getting triple teamed and double teamed, which makes sense. He's one of the best receivers in the state for a reason. I think Ensworth has a little more. I know they lost. Jacob Page is no longer there. He had a great game in this game last year. Shamar Porter, I think he'll bounce back. Levi Moore, he'll bounce back. Mark Smith had a really good rushing game last week for the Tigers. No Down Hayden. I think that's going to play a factor. I think Ensworth bounces back in a big way. I got them winning 35-24.
Ensworth wins this game. Levi Moore missed part of last week's game, I believe, maybe a little ding or two, but he was fine. I mean, I should be fine there. Ensworth wins this game by 2 scores. Hendersonville at Beach, both teams 1-1. If you're in Sumner County, this is the game you're going to. This is a huge rivalry.
Yeah, and Hendersonville dominated both games last year. This is not the same Hendersonville team, though. They lost quite a bit. Beach has really just kind of figured out the run game. They've got J.P. Courtney kind of establishing himself as their true running back. He leads his team in rushing yards. I think he has 2 touchdowns, too. Caden Thyman has a team-high 3 touchdowns. I think Beach gets some revenge. I've got them. I think they're a little more well-rounded than Hendersonville. I got them winning 31-16.
Beach by 2 scores, and we mentioned this on the Spaces on Friday night. When Beach can run the football, they are going to be very dangerous to beat. That's exactly what Coach Anthony Crabtree wants to do. He wants to be able to run the football. He wants to play physical football. A lot of kids have graduated from Hendersonville that were so good. A lot of their skill guys graduated. Beach by 2 scores there. DCA 1-1 at Friendship 2-0. This is an interesting game. Just DCA is kind of a budding rivalry there, and DCA finally got a win they got one win in week 2. It looked a lot better. Of course, it was an Ezel Harding program that was just bringing back football. So this is another big test for Coach Paul Wade in there. I mean, because this Friendship team's pretty good with the Weekly kid there, and then the receiver Montgomery.
Yeah. I mean, this was a game DCA kind of rolled last year. DCA rolled in most of their games last year. They won this one 47-0. I think this Friendship Christian team this is the year they've been waiting on. I know last year they had the pieces. They were talented, but they were young. Garrett Weekly's only thrown 3 incomplete passes so far in 2 weeks. He's got 5 touchdowns. 4 of those have been to Brock Montgomery. So they really have this great connection. They've outscored Trousdale County and MGCA 109-12. So they're clicking on all cylinders right now. This could be a really big statement win for Friendship Christian. Not going to look ahead to they need this win for them to really establish themselves as a kind of the team maybe in Middle Tennessee to beat in D2A. I got them winning this one though 33-24.
Friendship wins this game a couple scores. Nothing against DCA. I think they're missing some key people that graduated last year, trying to find themselves. I think this Friendship kid, Gary Wakely, he's the grandson of the Vols softball coaching staff there. I think he's really developed in year 2 at Friendship. I think he'll have a great game there, and I think Friendship will win, go 3-0, and maybe an early favorite to get it to Chattanooga. I think. Of course, they play Grace Christian next week.
It could be a huge game next week.
I think we'll be talking about that game next week.
Absolutely.
Final game, Macon County 2-0 at DeKalb County 2-0. Big region game there. What do you know about these guys?
This was a really good game last year. Macon actually won it 32-29. They scored with less than a minute left. So 12 play drive that ended up with the game-winning touchdown. Both teams lost quite a bit. DeKalb has a really good young quarterback in British Trapp, though, that's kind of played well the first couple weeks. Macon County, they've played really close games, and so has DeKalb. DeKalb's only won their first 2 games by 4 total points. So Macon County, this is, like you said, a good rivalry game. I'm sure the stands will be packed. Everybody will be out there for this one. I got Macon coming away with another close win, though. They win at 35-32.
Macon wins this game. It's another great game there. This is a good rivalry game. This is a budding rivalry game there. Probably by a score. 6-4. I went last week. You went 7-3. We're tied. I don't know what's going on there.
More than likely.
But we got 2 different games.
There we go.
So we're probably going to be tied next week.
More than likely.
We'll see you next week on the Bootleg. This has been Tom Kreager and Joe Spears. We'll see you at a game Friday night.